Hey, welcome back. In this video, I just want to talk about all the things that I feel that you should change, during the early access period to Slime Rancher 2 to make it just a better game. So let's just start off with a very simple one. We actually have a lot of bugs in this game right now. There are three major ones that I constantly see popping up in my comment section and that I have actually experienced myself. So first off, not the ability to just, harvest resources. So you can just kind of, keep sucking at this radiant ore and it's not coming loose from the stone and you can't harvest it that way. You can actually solve this by just rebooting your game if you want. Then, of course, the second one and the most annoying one in my opinion, and that is just going to be the one that you can't actually upgrade your character. So basically, for some reason, when you actually haven't unlocked an upgrade just yet and you immediately get the next piece that you need for the next tier of upgrade, well, basically then it won't let you buy that next tier upgrade after buying the previous one. It's really weird, but for some reason we just can't upgrade our character as fully as we should be able to do. And then the third one, but I don't really mind it because I think it's pretty funny, and it's basically whenever you actually run into a rock, it kind of propels you into the sky. It isn't really that bad. You kind of always jump down. There's no fall damage. It's just, I think a lot of people kind of get irritated by it, but honestly, I just find it funny. Okay, my second point, of course, is going to be the NPCs. We really need to talk about that. Now, the NPCs, there is a problem with them, and they either need to be fixed or tuned. I think it's a rather tuning problem, but whatever. So whenever you actually start a new game, all the NPCs are going to introduce themselves. So you actually have Ogden, Machi, Victor, and Thor. They are going to introduce themselves. And after these introductions, only Victor and Thor are going to keep talking to you and give you gifts. So Victor is always going to give you 8 teleporters, 4 one-way teleporters and 4 two-way teleporters. Thor is just going to give you the taming bell, and then after that she's going to give you gifts, randomized gifts. So these can be either blueprints for the advanced snare, for example, or the just pre-made decorations. Now these are all kind of thrown into one bucket, into one pool, and every time you talk to Thor West, the game is going to randomized give you either a blueprint or a gift. So this is pretty cool in my opinion, because then way you don't really have control on whenever you're going to get that specific blueprint. But the problem is, if you are really unlucky, for example, the advanced snare, you can only get it like, for example, on day like 150, because it's just completely randomized. If you're unlucky, you're going to get it way too late, and that's going to just feel very unfair. Same thing with Machi Miles and the Market Link, same with Ogden Ortiz. It's just really annoying, to be honest. And the second problem with the NPCs is, of course, after Machi Miles and Ogden have actually introduced themselves, they are not really going to show up once again. They are going to show up after unlocking specific zones. Now, I actually already covered all this in a video that I will leave a link to in the description down below. And Bob as well. Bob will actually also need to be triggered in a specific way for him to actually show up. But as much of testing that I have done, this is still in certain ways randomized. They are all kind of tied to either talking to drones or unlocking all the areas. These Ember Valley and Starlight Strand, of course. Once you actually unlock those and talk to a few drones, all of them should show up. But for a lot of players, for example Bob, he should show up because you have actually unlocked these zones, and he doesn't. So there is going to be a need for some fine-tuning or for some fixing. I don't know what it is, but honestly, just the moments that NPCs show up and the types of gifts that they give, well, that should really be tuned, because there is a little bit of a problem over there. Personally, if I had to suggest a solution, that would be just, first of all, just really make the NPCs give specific blueprints a lot quicker than other. For example, just increase the chances that you're going to get a blueprint like the Market Link or the Advanced Snare a lot quicker and compared to a few pre-made decorations. I don't want to have 100 pre-made decorations before I finally get my blueprint for the Market Link. That just doesn't feel fair. It's going to frustrate me, and it's going to make a lot of people unhappy. And on the other hand, the NPCs should just show up on the same day that you immediately unlock a specific thing. So if you actually, for example, create your very first coop, Bob should show up. If you actually create your very first garden, Ogden should show up. Or just Machi Miles, you actually have talked to 4 drones, she should show up the same day, the same moment. And right now, that doesn't really seem to be the case, because for some reason, whenever you do that, there are going to be a few more days in between. It's just a little bit, I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but that's just it. Let's just move on before this becomes a 1-hour video. Now, the third thing I want to talk about, of course, is going to be the chickens. Now, the meat production in this game, I really love that they ramped it up. Because honestly, in Slime Rancher 1, you were only going to be working with vegetables or fruit, because meat productions, hands could never keep up. In this game, they fixed that. Really happy about that, but they need to really fix a few things. So first of all, if you have too many chickens into a coop, they are going to start spawning out of the coop. And if you actually neglect that for a little bit, for example, if it's like in a zone, in an area of your ranch that you don't visit that much, well then basically all these chickens are going to multiply, and before you know it, you're going to have like 1,000 hens in just a little area. You know, that's just going to lag your game. That's going to be really annoying, and just cleaning everything up, that's not really fun. In my opinion, this shouldn't be really difficult to fix. You can either make it so they just don't spawn outside of the coops after, the coop is completely filled, or whenever the coop is filled and reaches a certain number of, hens in that coop, then they should just stop procreating. That was the same system in Slime Rancher 1, and that worked pretty well. Additionally, if they really want to ramp up meat production like they are doing right now, I just really suggest that they actually kind of implement a coop upgrade like the plort collector. Whenever there's a certain number of chickens into that coop, then that plort collector is just going to collect all those hens that are, in abundance, the ones that you don't really need to keep a functioning coop, and just like vacuum them in that thing, and that way you can actually just go pick them up whenever you want. It would be just a really simple upgrade, but it would just make everything so much more fun. Now, there are 3 more things that I briefly want to talk about. That's going to be the tar problem. There are way too many tars in this game right now, but honestly, I don't see this getting fixed for the very simple reason is, well, whenever you actually have more than 3 types of slimes in whatever area, well, basically you're going to get a lot of tar. It's not really fun, but the only solution they have for that is just to remove that type of slime from that area. And they're not going to be able to do that because they really want this like full-filled area with a lot of different wildlife. So if they actually start removing slimes to combat the tar problem, you're going to have a little bit more of an empty area. So I don't really think that makes sense to really start doing that. Another thing that I see often mentioned in the comment sections of my video is of course nectar. Moondew nectar is the only food that floated slimes eat, and they want to see it being able to grow in your ranch. And that makes a lot of sense, and honestly I think this could also really easily be fixed by just creating this garden upgrade. I think that's going to be something that we're going to get in the future, at least I hope so. Because if you actually think about it, all those moondew nectar, it actually just grows on top of other trees. So they could make this garden upgrade. So for whenever you actually have a fruit tree, then you can actually get this flower on top of it, and from that flower you can get some moondew nectar. But to actually get it at the same efficiency in production as the other fruit, vegetables or meat inside of the table, well basically that's not really something that I see happening. But it still would be a really easy garden upgrade for them to create. And the last thing that I want to talk about, just for completion's sake, a lot of people have been complaining about drones, and that makes a lot of sense. They make life a lot easier, but don't worry, they're coming back. Monomi Park S actually already shared in the FAQ, if I'm not mistaken, that the drones are going to be coming back, but first they really want to take a look at it, and they really kind of want to, kind of rework them, making them a little bit better than they were in Slime Rancher 1. So don't worry, they're coming back, and I can't wait. And that's everything that I would like to see changed in Slime Rancher 2. If you have some things of your own, please share them in the comment section down below. Next up, you should probably check out this video out right here, but don't click on just yet, because you know it. You need to subscribe to stay up to date on everything Slime Rancher 2 related. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.